Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving Shorty, and even in the middle of Lockdown 2.0, we are still here, mainly because I'm posting stuff out. By the way, these little envelopes back here, people haven't paid for their stuff yet. Check your PayPal invoicing, check your emails, make sure you've seen them, and pay us. We need your money. But we also just enjoy comic books, so I'm still here. Today, reviewing another from Scout Comics, Children of the Grave. Quite a dark cover. I realise I'm trying to get a good picture of it, but you either get light reflecting on it, or it's going to be too dark to see. But I've got a sneeze coming. It's going to happen at some point, just to warn you. It's going to be sudden, and it's going to happen. Let's move on from now. Scout Comics issue ones are always entertaining for me because sometimes they do their non-stop thing where it's issue one and you have to wait a few months until you get a trade, which is kind of a good thing because it means if you like number one, yeah, you've got to wait a while, but there's no risk of not getting an entire thing. They're changing up even more now, and they've announced that they're not going to solicit issue 2 until issue 1's in stores, so people actually get to read it. And it means comic book stores aren't just gambling that it's going to be as successful as they want it to be, or they're not going to end up with too many or not enough. It gives comic book stores and comic book readers a way better chance of actually getting a full story, which is really nice. I think this is going to be one that people will enjoy, if I'm completely honest. I've already posted a picture where it looks like it's doing a bit of a Last of Us kind of vibe, which is totally true, but it doesn't really maintain that story. It maintains the feel, absolutely, including a little town in the middle of nowhere. People aren't supposed to leave. No real security, though, which makes me think whatever happened 30 years ago, because it's very much 30 years from now, whatever happened might not be just something where it's going to be a continual source of threat, but something has definitely happened. And over the course of this issue, you get an awful lot dropped in about what is going on, but not what has happened in the past. Like, no clue as to what happened 30 years or 30 years before or anything like that. It is just the way they are living, which is, in a cult. Quite clearly, it's a cult. They're referred to as brothers and sisters, and elder brother and younger brother, and they're not allowed to leave the environs of terror. And magically, food just keeps growing and providing. All you need to do is harvest it, and that's it. That's kind of like the reason why they shouldn't want to leave. And everyone believes in it, and they have their little songs they sing. And oh my gosh, it's creepy, creepy, creepy. But that's good because it sets up what is actually a horror comic book. And even with the Last of Us kind of vibe, as I said at the beginning, it's easy to kind of forget that it's a horror story. It just feels like it's more of anything like just a slightly odd slice of life. The main character has friends and enemies and his own motivations and ideals, and he has questions that are not being answered. And he makes a decision that he can't stay around. He can't do what is expected of him, and he wants to escape terror because he keeps finding all these lost relevant artifacts of what happened before without even knowing anything about what happened between then and now. And then you get to the ending, and the last few pages are brilliant because it manages to add a whole bunch of extra stuff to it, takes in a completely different direction that I wasn't expecting, but still doesn't actually explain what's going on. And for an issue 1, that basically means it's not doing everything I expected it to. It's not doing that, let's see what's on the back of the book, oh, that's going to be chapter 1 kind of thing. It leaves a whole bunch of questions unanswered, but it also adds way more to the story as well. There's extra layers of detail, extra layers of horror in there, which I totally wasn't expecting and were wonderfully surprising. I kind of want to show you the last page, but unlike yesterday when I did the totally obvious spoiler review for a girl who walks home alone at night, was a vampire. This is one where I feel like there shouldn't be a spoiler for it. You should actually just flick through these last few pages and just your mind will gradually, hopefully, grasp what's going on and realize just how gross and weird their world is. There is a few bits and pieces in here which do look great and give you a sense of what kind of artwork it is, though. I'm going to use just a standard page here, just nothing really out of the ordinary in page layout, nothing really out of the ordinary even in colouring or anything like that. It's well put together. I mean, I like the last panel, that's cool, and he looks very cool and imposing cult leaderish there, because it's obviously what he is. But when I'm talking about the art for Scout at the moment, I feel like although there's definitely not an in-house style, there are a bunch of independent artists, writers, creators who do their own thing. It's all creator-owned, and I love that ethos. And one of the reasons why I like Scout and various other small press companies at the moment. But there's a certain kind of lo-fi style where you don't have like the shocking levels of detail. You don't have really bright computer coloring. You don't have too much of an overplay of darkness and shadow either. And this one is like some quite extreme shading, but it's still shading. It's not just pure blackness to counter the color. And although, yes, it's certainly not something which I think Scout would say is their in-house style, but it's something I'm kind of associating with Scout Comics now. And although in the past I have said stuff like an in-house style can be kind of detrimental. In this way, because it's like a new discovery for me, I was like, oh, cool, they've got an in-house style. 30 years from now, if they're like one of the big five or whatever, it could be that they keep doing it, and I find it quite frustrating. I keep wanting to push more, but at the moment, it gives like a series of very disparate comic books a sense of style and place within the industry, and I do find that enjoyable. At least I say right now I do. So yeah, really good read. Definitely more horror in there than I was expecting. Doesn't really jump out of anything in terms of art, although it's very content and very good. And it's certainly enough for me to be paying attention to it and see how it carries on from here. If you've got a comic store or has got one, at least flick it through it and see what you think yourself. I think it will not be disappointing. That's it for me today, though. If I do one tomorrow, I'll be at home because I'll have to be in the shop tomorrow. It's my day off. Caused by CV-19. I get to spend the day with my dog at home. But my laptop home is not as good as this one. So if you're watching tomorrow's review, I do apologize. Other than that, take it easy. Bye.